autonomous and connected cars might be the future of technology.
But the world of transportation isn't just about high-tech cars.
Public transportation is also gearing up for some big changes, with companies around the world working on the next big thing.
So on this week's episode of Tech It Out, we find out what's in store for the transportation space in the next few years and how it's going to change the way we commute. Alright, so we're going to kick this episode off with the greatest cab-hailing app on the planet, Uber.
That's debatable at best.
No, it's not. Uber is the best thing ever, Sahil, hands down.
Okay, everyone knows that Uber drivers are never on time, not known for their punctuality. I mean, the amount of times I've had to call them and explain to them where my location is beyond frustrating.
And I don't know what version of the app you're using, perhaps a beta testing version, but if everyone felt the same way as you did, Uber wouldn't have been bigger and better than the rest.
Okay, bigger does not mean better.
Trust me, bigger is always better.
Are we still talking about Uber?
Not necessarily, but India is key to Uber's future, and we got a chance to sit down with the world's most valued tech startup. They've introduced a number of India-specific initiatives, making Uber India a very different animal. Take a look.
In the fast-paced lives that we live today, we are always moving. Moving forward, moving towards a destination. We always have a place to go to, somewhere to be at, businesses to build, places to see, things to do, and friends to meet. We move through time at the speed of light. We're always going places, almost always on the road, because the road must eventually lead to the whole world. But what's it that keeps us going? That keeps us moving on the roads always? In the last few years, Uber has completely transformed the way we move. Eliminating the need to get down on the roads to hail taxis or calling multiple operators to book a cab, one can now reach a destination from just about anywhere with a few taps. Or is there more than what meets the eye? Let's find out.
It has been a very exciting journey, not just globally for Uber in this period, but also in India, where we started off with presence in one city, and we're present now in 29 cities, moving millions of riders each day, and also enabling livelihood opportunities for thousands of our driver partners who are now able to earn a life of dignity and work on their own terms.
I've been working with Uber from last year. We started with 2 cabs in last July. And right now we are having 9 cabs working with Uber only. When we get registered, we get a training how we have to deal with the riders or with the app conditions, and after that the customer care is available. If we have any of the problem, any of the time in a day, we can call them and they are always ready to help us.
Good morning, your Uber driver, sir. I have a location on GPS, sir.
For us, innovation is an ongoing process. It's a 3-step process. A, you are consistently researching and analyzing. How do we do that? We are always talking to our riders and drivers and trying to understand what their pain points are. We are also using data at the core of analyzing performance. So for example, we are able to analyze different interactions which either the rider or driver are having with the app. How long did it take for the driver to arrive at the rider's place? How long before the rider had to wait before getting into the car? Step 2 is to use the pain point and then create a product solution. It might be a rider side feature or a driver side feature. I'll talk to you about 2 features which have been recently launched on the rider side. I think one of the features is schedule a ride. Many of our riders used to tell us that they would want the comfort and the confidence of being able to plan ahead in time for the trip, which is being able to book an Uber in advance. So working with our engineers both in Bangalore and in the Silicon Valley, we have created a feature called Schedule a Ride, which lets you book a ride on Uber as ahead as 30 days or as near as up to 15 minutes from your ride. We created a feature which was recently launched in India, again uniquely for India, is which will allow you to book a ride for somebody else. All you need to do is open the app. You put in the pin to a location where the rider is, whom you want to book a ride for. It will actually ask you, is this ride for somebody else? And you can choose from your phone book who that ride should be. So I can actually say, pick up the ride from Cyber City in Gurgaon. This ride is for my mother from the phone book, and the trip will get booked for her. Not only that, she will get a message on her mobile phone with details of the driver. The other equally important stakeholder of our platform are the drivers, whom we call the driver partners. What many people don't realize is that the same way we have a rider app, we actually have a very different app for the driver partners, the Uber Partner app. So for example, not many people would know that in the driver side app, we have something called a heat map. Now what's a heat map? Think of it like a map of the city which is available to the driver partner real time with different color codes across different parts of the city, which indicates what are the demand and supply in specific areas. You could look at a heat map and say, wow, at this stage, 3 kilometers from here, there's a significant demand. There are many riders who are looking to request, and thereby you would try and go to that location, which means the asset gets utilized and their chances of earnings go up. At the same time, on the rider side, the chances of them finding a ride increases. There are often times in the day when they would actually not want the next trip immediately, and rightly so, right? They may want to take a break. They may want to fill up fuel in the car. They may just want to step back and do a few phone calls. And we recognize that's a choice which the driver should have. So we created this feature called the pause feature, which is that during a trip, if they can actually choose in advance that whether they want the next trip coming immediately or not.
The whole app is very useful. We get online and offline option. We can choose the online and offline option any of the time. If we want to drive in the night, then we can go online in the night only. So, and if we don't want to work, so then we can offline immediately.
Ratings become a great marketplace indicator mechanism for us, where a rider is rating a driver at the end of a trip. It helps us do 3 things. One is for Uber, it helps us understand a complete history of what was the nature of the experience in terms of the ride which the rider had. End of a trip, the same way a rider rates a driver also gets to rate a rider. And why is that important? I think again for 2 reasons. One is we recognize that the same way we are ensuring a service quality on the platform to the riders, there's a certain minimum quality we want to ensure in terms of the drivers also, and the rider behavior we expect from the Uber platform. It actually creates a sense of fulfillment and goals for the driver partner. It's like you and I coming to work and saying we should do a good job because that's who we are and we want to do it. It's not because at the end of the year I will get a performance rating which will be X.
This rating is very important as Uber is very particular about this rating. I will particularly give 1 or 2 rating only when the customer is misbehaving.
You know, Sahil, these Uber drivers, when they drop you off at some location, they ask you to give them 5 stars.
Yeah.
So this one time, I took an Uber and I was super hungry, okay. So the Uber driver said, Madam, 5 star de do. You know what I said?
I have a feeling I do, but go on. What did you say?
Pehle aap dairy milk do.
That's just terrible, man.
It's funny. Listen, sometimes you have to make yourself laugh, especially when you take 3 Ubers a day.
Well, at least you managed to make someone laugh. We're going to take a very short break, but more tech action on the other side. Just terrible.
Stay tuned.
Shame on you. Welcome back. You're watching Tech It Out on WION.
Now, just before the break, we showed you what Uber is up to in India and how taxi-hailing apps are revolutionizing the way we commute. But sadly, Uber isn't going to fix the nightmarish traffic jams we face in cities every day.
That's right. And over the past few years, the Delhi government has done everything it can to reduce the number of cars in the city. But sadly, it hasn't really worked out. And the Indian capital's reputation as one of the most polluted cities in the world hasn't really changed all that much.
Now, a 2-year-old startup called Shuttle is trying to fix this condition. They are urging people, encouraging them to use fewer cars and opt for public transport instead. Here's their story.
I wonder, like, maybe if you use public transport, perhaps you would be on time to work. Just a thought, just putting it out there. I mean, I'm just saying that you were late to the shoot today, you were late last week and the week before that and the week before that. You see the trend that's happening here? So I was just wondering, maybe if you took public transport, you would be, on time. You would enlighten us with your presence on time every week. I mean, that'd be a nice feeling.
Worth a try, but you know what, Sahil? Sometimes I feel that this show is just about you being passive-aggressive.
Okay, so I'm going to let you on a little secret. That's all that this show is about.
So there's actually no tech in this show, right?
Absolutely not.
Thought as much.
Commuting isn't everyone's cup of tea, especially if you live in Delhi and have to rely on the public transportation system to get around. After all, people using mass transit facilities have to often give up on the idea of personal space, and not even the extremely efficient Delhi metro can save them from commuting like a swarm of confused ants. However, there are startups out there that actually care about the well-being of common everyday commuters who don't own their own personal conveyance and can't afford cabs and autos on a daily basis. One such startup is Gurugram-based Shuttle, which offers economical and comfortable shuttle services to commuters across 50 routes in Delhi and NCR. Brainchild of IIT graduates Amit and Dipanshu Malviya, Shuttle is essentially the Uber of buses.
So at the very foundation of Shuttle, we have assured seat as a promise. What we believe is if you get to sit, one is you can do a lot more work, or you can do whatever you want. Also, somewhere you are not rubbing shoulders with people, so that gives you dignity in your commute. So by assuring seats, we are actually solving for personal space and dignity of commute.
But Shuttle is not just about providing a comfortable bus service. The company also hopes that its business model will encourage people to ditch their personal vehicles, which are major air pollution and congestion contributors in metropolitan cities like Delhi.
A huge percentage of people who were earlier using car, cab or derivatives of these modes have shifted to Shuttle. In fact, 57% of our users have moved from cars and car-based solutions. And the reason for that is very simple. It's convenient as a car and still as affordable as a bus. So it's a midpoint, which is a sweet spot for most people in India.
In order to use Shuttle's bus services, users first have to register on the company's easy-to-use app. Once registered, passengers can book seats and pay anywhere between 50 and 80 rupees depending on the route.
Right from taking care of your registration, an identity of a person gets recorded on the app, and then you specify where do you wish to travel, and then the platform figures out what's the right route for you, what are the timings on which bus runs, and then you purchase a pass to travel on any of those routes. So that's at the base how Shuttle app works. On top of it, there are very value-added features like safety as a suite that we have launched. So it is not just your regular booking engine, but it goes beyond that. It takes care of your experience, in-ride experience inside the shuttle, as well as ensuring that it's a very safe and comfortable experience for you.
The app features a sound-based boarding technology for its commuters called Chirp, which according to the company makes the boarding process quick and efficient.
So we need to authorize every person who is getting inside the vehicle. Now traditionally this problem has been solved by using a conductor, which we believed was a very inefficient means of solving this. There is certainly a possibility of using technology in an innovative way, and that's when we came across using Chirp as a solution. So anytime you are getting inside the vehicle, you just have to chirp, and then magically it just authorizes who the right individual is. So without having a conductor, without having any manual intervention, your boarding gets recorded.
The startup also claims that safety is a key priority for it and has left no stone unturned to ensure the same. They've introduced a new bus called Shuttle Safe, which stands for Secure Anxiety-Free Experience. The bus is enabled with safety and emergency tools for the commuter, which ensures safe travel and keeps them out of harm's way.
We have taken technology, used technology to take safety to another level altogether. We are using image recognition, we are using alcohol, breath analyzers which are embedded digitally through technology to ensure that the right people are getting into the bus, right people are driving into the bus at the right physical condition. So we believe that if we can track and if we can detect at the right point and have that intervention done, then we can provide a much safer alternative. And then we have cameras, we have Wi-Fi's to ensure that the anxiety is also less. There's some other work that they can do.
Shuttle now runs over 450 buses, all of which are air-conditioned and GPS enabled. The idea here is to build a tech-oriented marketplace for AC buses, which are often underutilized. Shuttle's economical and user-friendly approach seems to have resonated with customers. In just 2 years, the startup has managed to attract a large client base and enjoys approximately 10,000 rides per day.
So when we started back in April 2015. The very first vehicle that we ran, there was just one individual traveling in that vehicle, and in the evening when the vehicle came back, that individual brought 2 more individuals along with him. So there was a strong word of mouth right from day one, you know.
And since then the journey has been like that. We have been able to grow every single day, every single month, and today we are doing about 22,000-24,000 rides a day, and we are running 450 buses, and for a company which is just 2 years old, this is significant.
The company is currently enjoying its wave of success, but the ride till here was not all that smooth. It had faced several challenges since its inception.
See, as we scale, ability to manage serviceability, manage reliability at scale keeps getting, tougher. As we double, the complexity also doubles. So the biggest challenge is to be able to offer reliable service even as we keep growing at a breakneck speed as we are doing.
There will also be challenges moving forward. The bus service space is relatively new in India and demands a lot of work around technology. In order to keep up with the competition, Shuttle needs to innovate if it wishes to stay ahead in the race. Despite the challenges, the emerging bus service market is expected to be larger than the taxi market, which is estimated at 60,000 crore Indian rupees. Startups like Shuttle want a piece of that pie by striving to be the next big thing in the transportation space. And who knows, if they play their cards right, they just might end up becoming so much more.
Alright, time now to take a very quick break on Tech It Out, but don't go anywhere,
because we continue with our transportation and commuting special on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Tech It Out on WION, where we've been exploring the future of public transportation.
And talking about the future of public transportation, have you heard of the Hyperloop?
I actually have, but I have a feeling you're going to mansplain things to me anyways.
Mansplain? No, I would never do that to you. But let me tell you how it works anyway.
Yeah, go on, mansplain. That's what we all come here for every Saturday.
So Hyperloop is this revolutionary concept by Elon Musk. You might have heard of him. He's the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. And he's envisioned a future where people can travel in tube-like systems and travel at super speeds to get from one place to the next.
Like how they do it in Futurama?
No, it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Pretty sure it sounds like Futurama.
Oh my God, it's just like Futurama.
Told you.
How did I miss that?
Because you were busy mansplaining things to me, perhaps that's why you missed it. But look, If this works out, people will be able to travel from LA to San Fran or Delhi to Bombay in like 30 minutes, which is pretty cool, even if it's inspired by a cartoon.
Okay, yeah, so this is the future of train transportation, courtesy of the SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk.
Or Futurama.
You know, you have ruined Hyperloop for me. I hope you are happy with yourself. Futurama,
Exactly what I wanted to do.
The promise of a Hyperloop to cut travel time from hours to minutes has sparked buzz globally. Hyperloop One is just one of the many companies placing their bets on this dream project. But what exactly is a Hyperloop? Well, the far-out concept was first pitched by serial entrepreneur Elon Musk, who in August 2013 laid out the plans for a super-fast transport system, which carries passengers in pressurized tubes at speeds which are close to a supersonic jet. Since then, universities and entrepreneurs have jumped at the idea. Its design is similar to how a puck behaves in a game of air hockey. The idea is to ferry passengers inside tube-link structures called transporters. These transporters will then travel inside massive tubes, levitated and surrounded by a cushion of air at speeds of more than 1,000 kilometers per hour. As per Musk's designs, one transporter can carry around 28 passengers alongside their luggage, which is stored in the front or the rear of the capsule. But when will this dream straight out of a sci-fi movie actually arrive? Well, unfortunately, as of now, there is no fixed date when we can expect to see the Hyperloop up and running. But what we do know so far is that a 1-mile track has been built by Musk's SpaceX company in Hawthorne, California, and the first successful test was carried out in Nevada, Las Vegas back in May, with a test pod reaching speeds of 112 km per hour in 5.3 seconds. And very recently in July, Hyperloop One accomplished what no one has done before, successfully testing the first full-scale Hyperloop system. Furthermore, Elon Musk himself tweeted in July that his Boring Company tunnel project has received verbal approval from the government to build a Hyperloop that would connect the cities of New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore and Washington, D.C. But the Hyperloop project is not just limited to the States. The supersonic speed fever is spreading to other parts of the world as well. In fact, Dubai has agreed on a deal with Hyperloop One to begin construction of the world's first Hyperloop system across the country. The deal will see both parties explore a route for a vacuum-sealed pod transportation system, which could potentially slash travel times between Dubai and Abu Dhabi, which is 150 kilometers apart, to around just 12 minutes. The concept of Hyperloop has also taken India by storm, with everybody having an opinion on the best route to deploy the futuristic transportation system. In fact, after a year of rigorous design reviews, SpaceX has chosen Hyperloop India, the only team from the country to race their pods in California in August 2017, where they will compete with 24 other countries. If it wins, the team's design would not only become the standard in Hyperloop technology, but would also be seen as a big win for Indian innovation. So if the future of transportation is all hyper and loopy, then it's a very bright future indeed. Although it remains unclear whether commercial Hyperloop systems will ever be widely adopted. With the global population swelling and the environment declining, better mass transit systems will become essential. But the cost of actually turning this radical idea into a mass transit reality is altogether a different matter. When Elon Musk conceived the Hyperloop, he said that building the transport system to connect Los Angeles to San Francisco will cost $6 billion. And that's just 2 cities. Imagine the bucket loads of money required to connect an entire country. How much economic sense the Hyperloop makes is hard to know. But experts believe that huge research and development costs may very well be the speed breaker in our path to high-speed travel. Well, that's it for this edition of Tech It Out. We really hope you enjoyed the show.
You can, of course, follow us on our social media, digital platforms. @WION_Tech It Out is our Twitter handle. Tweet to us, tell us what you like, what you dislike.
We'll see you same time next week. Thank you for watching.